Hey, do you want to build your first web page without using any code, no CSS, no HTML? All right, stick with me and I'm going to show you how to do it in just a few minutes using only the free version of Elementor. Hi, I'm Jairo and this is ABL Mindset, and here we share simple web tips, design tricks, and ideas on how to grow your web agency. And if you'd like to go deeper, I'm giving away a free version of my book, Solopreneur Guide to Agency Success. Just click that link in the description. And if you'd like a physical copy, it's also on Amazon for only $9.99. All right, so let's dig into Elementor and build our first web page without using any code at all. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So here we're going to start with our WordPress dashboard. The first thing that we'll do is we'll go to our pages. Here we see our example pages that we built previously. About us, contact us. So let's start with homepage. We'll go to edit with Elementor, and here you see homepage. This is where our header is going to be, but we're going to edit this later on with a different plugin, and I'll show you how to do that. So just stick around for the later videos. The first thing that we will do here is we will start with clicking plus. We'll start using Flexbox. Grid is also a good thing to use depending on your website layout and setup, or if you have something that might work better with the grid setup, you can do that. But for this tutorial, we're gonna use Flexbox. So we'll click that. And here we'll start with direction going down. And I'm gonna explain how this works in just a minute. So we're in our container right now. So our layout, you can see here, our width. So usually before you start building your website, like we did in the previous tutorial, we went to site settings and we set up our global styling. Here you can see the global styling that we previously set. Our page width is 1340. All right, so page width is good. Minimum height, this is something that you can set depending on the website layout. So some websites, some modern websites, minimum height might be a viewport height 100. So no matter what size their screen is, it will be 100% on their screen. So for this example, we're not going to do that. We're going to remove that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to go to advanced and we're going to set our padding. So right here, I'm going to set my padding to 200 top, 200 bottom. Right and left is going to depend on the width of your website. So for this width, we can start on our desktop view, 24 left and 24 pixels right. 24 pixels left and 24 pixels right. All right, so for this section, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our background image. For this example, we're gonna use pugs. People like dogs and pugs are adorable. So let's use this pug as the background image for this masthead. So right now, we don't really see the pug. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the position to center. And in some cases, you might wanna use center left. You might wanna use center right. It all depends on the image and the website and the layout that you're going for. For this example, we're gonna use center. We're gonna have that cute little pug right there in the middle. Attachment, we're gonna make it scroll attachment. So whenever we scroll, the image will scroll. In some cases, you might want to use fixed. It all depends on your preference. This is honestly not a big deal. Actually, for this, let's say fixed. We're gonna use attachment fixed. So when we scroll, you can see the pug fixed in the background. Repeat is, do you want this image to repeat or not repeat? For smaller images, you might want to have some type of collage style background. Some images might be very small, 200 by 200 pixels, and they can seamlessly repeat. To create a seamless background, you might want to hit repeat. For this image, it's a large image, so we're going to hit no repeat. All right, so the next thing we'll do, and also the default size, we'll set to cover. What cover means is, doesn't matter what size this screen is, it will cover the entire screen. So that's very simple. Next thing we'll do is we'll add a heading. And here I generated a very basic copy on ChatGPT. why pugs are cute. We'll paste that right there, and we'll make the text color white. The reason we're seeing purple text color is because in the previous tutorial, we set our global styling and we made all text color purple, but instead we're gonna use white text. It's just that it's gonna work much better with this background image. And also we're gonna go back to our container here and we'll set background overlay, and we'll set the background overlay color to, let's try maybe primary color, see how this works. Our primary color is purple. So maybe we want to do purple overlay. Let's make this purple overlay just a bit darker. So that way we're still sort of within our color palette. All right, I think right there is good. You can still read the text and you can still see the cute little pug in the background. Now we also have a little sub headline here, and probably secretly rule the world. So let's copy that. So if you want to work faster, if we're all about efficiency and speed, you can duplicate this background and paste that sub headline there. And let's make this text smaller. I think that looks pretty good, right? Okay, 36, that looks good. And you can even go thin. So sometimes for bold headlines, you might want to do very thin sub headline. It's all about preference. This is all subjective stuff. This looks good to me. All right, now we're gonna add a little button. Generally, with the above the fold sections, you wanna have some type of call to action. You wanna have a CTA. So this CTA might say something like, find your pug. Perhaps this website is helping people find their pug. The CTA is gonna say, find your pug. And this is where you will set your link for this button. So you can start typing maybe services. So there you go, you got your services page right there. And I don't like that this button is so close to this text here, to the sub headline. You can add margin, top margin on the button, or you can add bottom margin on this headline here, sub headline. So let's say we'll do 34 pixel bottom margin on the sub headline. And that is our top section right there. All right, so now let's see how this looks on tablet. Okay, maybe we want to make the text, the main headline, maybe we want to make the main headline a little bit smaller. So we'll try that. I think that looks good. So now that our main headline is a little bit smaller, perhaps we want to make the sub headline a bit smaller too, just to make everything consistent and professional. That looks good. Now we go down to the mobile portrait. And personally, I don't mind this. I think this looks good. Large headlines are very popular nowadays. But let's try 48 or 40. I think 40 looks good. Now we'll go down to the sub headline, and let's do the sub headline 22 pixels. And that is our masthead section above the fold, right? So it's the first thing that people will see when they land on this website. Let's go back to our ChatGPT copy here. So the section 2 for this website says they have built-in snorkels. All right, so we'll go down to the plus icon, click flex boxes. And for this section, we'll do the container on the left and the container on the right. All right. And we'll do the same thing. The way we started with the first section, we'll start with the second section as well. And again, this is something that you can set this in your global styling, which actually, let's say publish, and let's go back to our global styling again. And that's going to be in your site layouts, your setting layouts, container padding. So right now the container padding is default at 14 pixels across the board, top, right, bottom, left. Let's unlink this, and then we'll set our top to be default at 94 and bottom to be default at 94. All right. And now every container that we create will start at 94 pixels top and 94 pixels bottom. All right, so now everything is starting at 94 pixels top, 94 pixels bottom. So for this section, we'll start, okay, so let's copy our headline. We'll go to plus, drag and drop our headline there. They have built-in snorkels. This is going to be H2, which is already set. So let's make this 40. Let's go a little higher. Let's go to 48, 50. All right, so now we have our general headline sizes. Our H1 here in the masthead is 105. This one, H2. So let's go back to our global styles. So when you start building, the first couple of sections will dictate how the rest of your website will look. All right, so we'll go down to H. So H1 is 105. H2, 50. Montserrat. All right, let's go back. So now we know the direction we're heading in with this design. And here we have a little tiny, let's call it like a sentence. So we'll add a text editor here and we'll copy that. And for this section, so now you can decide, you can say, do I want this next image to be a background in the container? Or do I want to add an image module? So if you had an image module, and let's say the next image that we use is perhaps this one right here, or maybe this one. Okay, so this works. This kind of works. It's not perfect, but you're gonna have a lot of empty space. So you can decide if you want to stay with this type of layout, or another option would be delete this image and click on this container styling and then go to background type, choose an image, and then select the image right here. Now this is similar to how we built the background image up here, or how we added the background image up here. So you click right there and you will select your position, center, and you will select your attachments. So for this one, we can click scroll because we don't want this image to be fixed in the background. And you can select your repeat function, not repeat. Display size, we'll select cover. But do we want this image to be squeezed like this? Well, what you can do is go to your advanced layout, and here you can unlink the padding. And for the top, let's say 200 and bottom 200. So now the image is a little bigger, but you don't want this text to be uneven. You want it to be centered. You sort of want this centered. Unless you decide maybe you want to add some bullet points down here. For example, if you want to do that, you can go to elements and let's type in list. And maybe we want an icon list here. So maybe the first one will say something like cute. Second one will say adorable. Third one will say fun. So now it looks a little more even. But what you can do is click at the main container, go to the main container, and then click center. And now both of these containers are perfectly centered. All right. Now for the next section, we'll click flex boxes again, and let's do the same. We'll do the container left, container right. And here, now again, so if you want to build faster, what you can do is, if you want your next section to follow this layout, what you can do is right click and duplicate. Now you got a duplicate section here. Go to structure. So this is our container. Just drag this up here. Now you have an image on the left and your copy on the right. I think this kind of breaks it down a little bit better, because you don't want it to be too repetitive. You don't want your sections to be too repetitive. You want to give it some style. For this section, let's see what where the copy's taking us. Big eyes, bigger guilt trips. So let's copy that, and we'll add that right here. And then we got this little bit of text down here. All right, so here, let's change this image. All right, we'll use that image right there. Big eyes, bigger guilt trips. All right, so we got that. And maybe you want to style these images a little bit more. So what you can do is, so in the previous tutorial, what we did is we added some global styling to the images. But the way we're using images here is a little different. We're loading these images as background images within the container. But if we're to load the image as an image module, you'll see that the border radius is rounded, because we already set that in the global styling. If you want to have a border radius on these images, all you do is you click on the container that you want to edit, and then you go down to border, and then you click border radius, let's say 24 pixels, and it's linked. So it's going to set 24 pixels border radius on every single corner, which I think looks fine. Let's do the same on this one. 24 pixels, and there we are. Now, one thing I don't like right here is this text is too close to the image. So let's check our gaps here. Columns, rows. Let's do 24 pixel gap. So this sets a gap between the columns, and you can do 24 there too. All right. So now let's do the same here. And if you don't want to do this on every single container, you can go to site settings, and you go to layout, and right there you'll set 24 all around. Save changes, and then we go back. All right, so that's looking pretty decent. Now, a good practice on websites in general is you want to add some internal links. You want to add more buttons on sections. You don't have to have a button on every single section. Some sections might just be informative, so you don't need a button on every single section, but it's good for SEO. You don't want to use text like learn more. You want the user to know where that button is going to take them. So you don't want to just say learn more. You want to say something like more about pugs. And in the link, you'll write about, and then you'll click about us. So now this button will take the visitor to the about us page. Now let's create another section. And in this section, maybe we want to do something different. So let's try something similar to the masthead. Let's see what this image looks like. Let's see what we got here. All right, so maybe we'll just do the full background. So the repeat, see how this one repeats? It's because repeat is sort of by default. So let's select no repeat. And position is going to be center. Attachment is going to be scroll, and then display will be cover. Oh wait, no, that's the same image that we already have. Let's select, what we got here? Okay, that. Oh, there he is. There's a little sleeping pug. Okay, so now do you want to add your heading from here, or do you want to just copy this heading? So what you can do is you can hit copy, and this is all about speed, speed things up. Paste. All right, professional nappers. But we don't want to have this text be so big, so let's So this one's 60. And if you want to get creative with your website, there's honestly no rules that are set in stone. Just make sure that when you do build your website, run it through like a Page Speed Insights or GT Matrix. Make sure that your performance is good. So if you do want to make this text bigger, just for styling purposes, you're perfectly free to do that. All right, and then you can see how this looks overall. All right, guys, just to keep this video short, we're gonna wrap it up here, but this is just a starting point. In the next video, we're gonna get a little more advanced, but don't worry, you're not gonna have to learn any CSS or HTML. We're gonna use ChatGPT. So your website is gonna look very professional and very stylish. But if you like this video and it helped, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.